Fresh Start, weekday mornings 7 till 9. Here's what it's like.
Good morning, you with Flower on Fresh Start. Today I have the pleasure of talking with Ivy Rossiter, who has released their debut album on May the 25th, Luckless, who is Ivy Rossiter and Will Wood. It's a beautifully crafted 11-track album. The album exudes seriousness and consideration. Coming to the Free House in Nelson on the 23rd of June. It's free, unbelievable. They are self-described as the melancholic indie rock duo. Will Wood's on the drums and Ivy on the guitar and the vocalist. Hello, Ivy. How are you today?
Hi there, Flower. I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good, and I'm so glad to be able to speak with you before you hit Nelson.
Yes, we're really looking forward to coming down, as long as it's not too cold.
Oh, it's a little bit cold, but it's beautiful through the day.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
So the album came out on May the 25th. How's it been going?
It's been going really well. We've had some really lovely support from people. People have been saying lovely things about it on the internet and in magazines and things like that, and we're really happy to be able to come around the country with it now because, you know, being up in Auckland, you're so far away from so many other people further down the country, so it will be really nice to be able to take it out on the road.
So, yeah, connecting with the people of New Zealand, because you were in the recording studios at Roundhead Studios for a year.
When we say that we were we weren't quite there the whole time. The reason it took so long was because we were snatching bits and pieces of time where we could. I have a day job, and so does my drummer, and our engineer, Jordan Stone, was really busy with a whole lot of other projects. So we were able to go in and record drums for a few days.
Yes.
Straight, and then we had to sit on the drum tracks for about 6 weeks while we waited to have some more time when we could all get together and keep recording. And so we'd do fits and starts here and there, and then we'd have to leave it for a few weeks and then come back to it. So
it was a collaboration.
Yeah, and it wasn't like we were in the studio every day for 9 months, but it certainly took its time in coming together.
Yeah, well, that was my next question, because I thought that you were in the studio the whole time, and I was going to ask you, how did you cope with that? Was it like Groundhog Day?
Oh, that would be, I mean, as beautiful as Roundhead is, and Roundhead is an amazing studio, it's an amazing facility, but I don't think I'd ever want to be in the studio for 9 months. That would be incredibly hard.
So you love connecting with the people?
Absolutely. We did a tour last year around the South Island as well. We didn't make it to Nelson that time, but it's so much fun touring the South Island. Everyone's so wonderful and friendly and supportive, and I mean, you play a show in Auckland and you're faced with the indifference of a whole lot of people and competing with a whole lot of other bands that are playing on the same night as you, and it can be a really hit and miss experience. And so we were a bit nervous the first time we came to the South Island, and then found that every single show was amazing in its own different way, and so we're really looking forward to being back down there.
Yeah, well, they do say that the Southerners do hospitality the best.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm wondering, Jordan Stone, I mean, he's done Wilco, the Pajama Club, even Crowded House. How did you guys end up crossing paths?
Well, I think, you know, up in Auckland, everyone meets everyone after a certain amount of time, and he had really enjoyed our music. In the past, I did a little 4-track EP, which he helped me with a little bit. I recorded it at home on a 4-track tape machine, and then he helped me do the final mixes and things like that. So we've known each other for ages, and he has just always been really supportive of what we were doing. And so, you know, when I started saying, you know, we'd like to do this album, and would you be interested in being involved, he was so enthusiastic and so optimistic about, you know, about how we could make it sound and how it would all work, and it ended up working really well. He's a great engineer, and we were just really lucky to be able to work with him. It was great.
Well, I love the album. I've listened to it. One of my favourite songs is Hawks.
Oh, cool! Yeah, that's our most recent single, and we made a video for it, and people seem to be enjoying it. So I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I played it to my friend, and she's a musician herself, and she loved it as well, and she loved the style in which the video was done.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, and so check that out on YouTube, everyone. If you haven't already heard of it, that's Hawk. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And
oh, great! It was friends of mine who made the video as well. They, one of them actually plays in a band himself, and I had mentioned to them that I wanted to do a music video, and that I didn't have much money, and they were like, oh yeah, we can totally come up with something. And I kind of showed them a couple of videos that I liked, and they said, oh yeah, we think we know where you're coming from. Let us go away and do a bit of research. And then they came back with all of these other videos, and they were like, well, we could do a bit like this and a bit like that, and everything they did was just they showed me was just so perfect. And so it was a really amazing experience working with them. Their production company is called Little White Pictures, and they just did such an amazing job, and they were so wonderful to work with. It was a really lovely experience.
Oh, well, a very fantastic end result.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I've just got the lyrics in my hand. Can you talk a little bit about the lyrics to Hawks? Because I'm very fascinated and intrigued.
Well, I think one of the things about the lyrics in my songs is I start off from one point, and it doesn't necessarily, everything that I write following on from there doesn't necessarily follow logically. It's not necessarily telling a story or anything. But Hawks in general, I guess it's about relationships, and the optimism that a relationship can start with, and then the changes that it goes through, and the security of being in a relationship. I guess it's those kind of emotions without actually telling a story.
I love the line, we kissed like hello strangers.
That came from that. I remember I was really inspired by another lyric in another song. I can't remember which one it was at the time, but that lyric actually was directly inspired by another band. Couldn't tell you which one right now, but yeah.
Well, I tell you what, when I did listen to the album, I was impressed for a two-person band. I mean, it's pretty amazing, the combination with guitar, the bass, the percussion, and the guitar.
Yeah, we our live sound is a little bit different to the recorded sound, because I think when you go into a studio, you can make the songs sound any way you want. You can make the song be a big orchestral work if you want. You could get a dozen violins into play if you wanted, even if you're not going to do it live. And so we really enjoyed the experience of developing the songs to what felt like their natural point, where they should be, especially if you're sitting listening to an album at home and you've got the opportunity to have as many instruments in there as you want. And then when we play live, it's actually it's a lot more stripped back, because clearly we can't layer up a whole lot of vocal harmonies and things like that when it's just the two of us. But interestingly, when we play in Nelson, it's going to be extra special this time around, because it's actually going to be a solo show, because for reasons outside of our control, Will isn't going to be able to be in Nelson, so it's going to be an extra special solo Luckless performance, which doesn't happen very often. So it'll be a quiet, intimate, hopefully quite a lovely environment to play in.
Have you been to the Free House before?
I haven't, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, it's lovely. It's an old church and it's all renovated.
Friends of mine, and actually Sam from Bond Street Bridge, who's touring with us, has been to the Free House, and he just recommended it so highly. He was so excited about the idea of going back there, so I can't wait.
So Sam Preble, how did you cross bridges with him?
When did I first meet him? Oh, it's hard to remember. I went... Oh, actually, no, I do remember when I first met him. There was a music festival on that was run by an independent radio station in Auckland called Fleet FM, a little low-power radio station, and it put on a New Year's music festival called Fleet Waters one year, and I was playing and Sam was playing, and we ended up chatting, and that was the first time that I met him, and we, then played a few shows together at different times over the years. And then I got chatting to him saying, Luckless wants to go on tour. This was last year. And he said, well, I can play as a solo act and I can come along. I don't take up much space. And so the three of us can all fit in a car together and it'll be great. And so we did that. And over the course of the 2 weeks of being on the road, I learned a few of Sam's songs. And he was kind of like, oh, you should join the band. And so now I play in Luckless and Bond Street Bridge.
Oh, wonderful. So we're going to have Sam Preble, the Bond Street Bridge, plus Ivy Rossiter.
Yeah.
And
Luckless.
And Luckless.
Yeah, so it'll be a really cool evening.
All right, everyone, you have been listening to Ivy Rossiter. She's coming down on June the 23rd, playing at the Free House with Sam Preble, the Bond Street Bridge. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I'm going to be there.
Oh, good. I'm glad. It will be really lovely to see you there.
So enjoy the rest of your morning, everyone. You've been with Flower on Fresh FM, and I'll see you all down at the Free House.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And that was Ivy Rossiter, who's performing at the Free House. Check her out online if you haven't heard of her before. On YouTube, watch Hawk. It's amazing.
Fresh Start mornings, weekdays 7 till 9